Almost
there, man.
Yeah, we're live.
All right.
Hello, I'm Matt Bergman, and you're watching the Punk Rock Libertarians podcast, episode 222.75, Treason Day special. I'm here tonight with Alexis Schlegel.
What's up, Matt?
And Lee Tark.
Yo, what's up?
Yeah. So yeah, we were just hanging out today and doing a little bit of grilling in Catonsville, and I thought we'd go live for the 4th of July.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, launched some fireworks. Matt threw some burgers on the grill.
Yep.
Yeah.
America. Some America things.
Some good burgers.
Yeah. It's definitely, I had a great time, but I'm a huge fan of the 4th of July, and I like to point out that it's Treason Day because it's kind of like just a reminder of treason can be a good thing.
Treason is the reason for the season.
So, yeah, man, definitely. Wearing my Edward Snowden Disobey t-shirt and, celebrating the 4th with my homies.
Nice.
And, just earlier today, it was announced that Justin Amash is leaving the GOP.
Yeah, he declared himself. He didn't just say it. He declared he is independent of the GOP. So, pretty much a sign that he possibly might be running it as might be the lead LP candidate in 2020. I mean,
yeah,
I kind of thought that all along. Like he was kind of setting himself up and getting ready to do that.
Yeah, it definitely seemed that way.
Yeah, for sure. So now it's just it's official. So I didn't get a chance to read his press release that he released. So be interested to read that, see what all he has to say. But I think he's just sick of the partisan bullshit and just sick of the two-party system and just the entrenchment in Washington and just how ridiculous the GOP is, that they just can't handle liberty-minded individuals working within the Republican Party or calling them out on their bullshit.
I think I'm most frustrated now. I guess this is kind of always the thing, but there's really like two types of discussion, it seems, for the most part. There are Democrats that want to just give illegal immigrants and I don't even like calling illegal immigrants illegal, but there are Democrats that want to give quote unquote illegal immigrants just like a smorgasbord and have the taxpayers fit the bill. And then on the other end you've got Donald Trump wanting to build a wall.
Yeah.
And then you've got Donald Trump's concentration camps, and it's like, I don't like either of these things, but I feel like the libertarians, so we don't even have a message being heard right now, being said.
Yeah, there's no fucking adults in the room. Like, this is it's just becoming so ridiculous and such polar opposites of the spectrum. It's like, where are the adults in the room just saying, like, look, we can't have open borders with a welfare state. It's just insane. You look at the sheer numbers. You look at there's statistics out there, I think, by the immigration. I forget what the organization is, but they actually did statistics of those that immigrate that are on like government assistance.
Yeah, but
I mean, it's like how
I'm just frustrated that there's nobody saying, look, we can have like pretty much open borders. Just we got to cut out the welfare state.
Right, exactly.
Nobody's saying that.
They can't we can't afford this. Like this can't. But at the same,
nobody's saying that, and I feel like it's also it's kind of frustrating to see like a lot of libertarians kind of choose like one way or the other, and instead of actually just saying that.
Yeah.
And insisting on it.
I think it's just like Arvin, and like I don't think the LP likes Arvin very much. So I get that, the leadership doesn't. So he's the only voice I really hear that's loud about it. So like Dave Smith and Arvin.
Yeah, it's like, it's a contentious issue, but it's just having an actual conversation is a key. But it's just the two sides are just insane. Like I think today one of my friends on Facebook posted. I don't even know how I'm friends with this individual, but just that I'm not celebrating the 4th. Fuck your fireworks, this and that. I'm ashamed of this country because they're running concentration camps at the border. It's like, wow. Like I could pull it up because I think I took a screenshot of it, but it was just ridiculous. I'm just like,
so like, what are your thoughts on the camps at the border? Like I'm hearing stories that people are being told to drink out of the fucking toilet.
Yeah.
And that's pretty horrible.
yeah, I mean, that's the thing. But I mean, let's be honest. Let's be intellectually honest. This has been going on for probably not the past 2 years since Trump's been in office.
Yeah.
This has been going back through many administrations. And it's just constant
But, I mean,
tossing
like,
this football back and forth between both parties.
Well, like,
But that's
is
whataboutism.
like, isn't Trump's whole big thing that he's like separating the kids from the parents? Isn't that supposedly why everybody's like more upset now?
Yeah, but then they also don't look at the fact that most of these individuals are brought in and what are they? I forget what they call them, but they're basically hired to basically smuggle people in and their children. And most of the people accompanying them, they're not even their parents. So they're trying to like sort out what the hell's going on here. I mean, God knows, there's probably a clusterfuck down there, you know?
I'm
and then
sure.
the fact where you're, promised. And then the other thing, too, that's never brought up or addressed is the fact that, look what we've done from a foreign policy standpoint and from a war on drugs standpoint.
To
what
cause
we've done. Yeah, what we've
to
done.
incentivize and disincentivize them to live there.
Right, what we've done
here.
to these countries in Central and South America and that have just made it to the point where it's like people are just, just flooding, or just escaping. God, like I can't imagine some of these shithole, like awful conditions. Well, the president said it. He said like shitholes, but I mean, I can't imagine, the effect living in a communist country or a country that's just
like
the
drug war
like raging on, propping up dictators, taking out just all of the economic turmoil we create in countries through embargoes and through so I can't imagine to want to escape that and then coming to the border and then constantly being promised too by these, oh yeah, come here and you'll get this, that, free, this, that, so you're just feeding into this like, oh, come to America, it's the greatest thing ever. And it's like, no, it's not. Like we're at this point where we got to have an honest discussion about it. I don't think anybody on either side is like having an honest discussion about it. Like, look, we can have open borders, like come all you want. But when you come here, it's like, guess what? Like, it's the welfare state needs to be addressed. And they never will. They never will address that. Well, let's put it this way. Like, they just want to like politicize it and also just make it contentious between the two sides. You know?
Also, like, if you don't want kids getting split up from their families, but if it's as bad as you say and it's like a prison, do you want kids like imprisoned with adults too? You know what I mean? Like I don't want a 12-year-old in like Supermax. Like that just sounds like a horrible idea. Yeah,
it's just great. I mean, I think that's probably, we're getting on this topic because of Amash, but yeah, it's probably just come to a head and then, where you can't, you're either with this side or you're with the other side, and there's no in between. He's just fed up with it.
There's no third option.
Yeah, just fed up with it. Like, look, this is ridiculous. So, anyways, yeah, good for him. We'll see what happens. Be interesting to see if he actually I guess, just finish out his term as an independent, or would he actually maybe switch parties and become a libertarian and then get, I don't know, or how would it work out?
There's been noise about him, running as a libertarian.
He said he wouldn't. Would he have to be a registered libertarian to run as the candidate, or to be in?
I'm not sure. I've gone to a couple
in the nomination process.
I've gone to a couple like of my county meetings and like the last two state conventions. Like I'm not very involved at all.
Yeah.
But it seemed like if I wanted to run for like a state, like a local office, it would have been pretty easy, and they didn't know me at all.
Yeah.
But,
so like, okay, so you went to a couple meetings and people were trying to sign you up to run?
What's that? Yeah. Well, not sign me up, but like someone did ask me where I lived, and I told them, and they were like, oh, okay, cool. Like you could run there, or like you could run against him. And I'm like, you don't know my politics. But I mean, they vet me a little bit, I'm sure, but but it's a little different for the national level. But they like people know Amash, so that's different too.
Yeah, we'll see. So yeah, that was like the big news today. What else went down today, or what else did we want to the military parade I don't know. Do you guys follow anything or see anything from it?
Yeah. So I'm guessing that was going to be in D.C.
Yeah. Yeah. So Trump basically, I forget how much he diverted from the National Parks Department to put on this huge military parade extravaganza.
Well, right. It's going to cost like a whole ton of money, but Trump, like every other president that we've seen, he's no problem with spending a whole ton of money. And then it's, I think John Vibes pointed it out that, if only people were as upset about tanks in Afghanistan as they are about tanks in this military parade.
Right. Exactly. Because, yeah, exactly. Because I've actually saw,
and there are people that are upset about both, but it seems like you only hear them being upset about this military parade.
Yeah. That was the thing too. That was like triggering the outrage of the left, the delusional left about these conditions in these so-called concentration camps on the border.
Yeah,
and I saw a post like, oh, we can afford tanks and shipping, like basically shipping all these tanks from I think the one base in Georgia on flatbed rail cars into DC and unload them and have this huge massive like tanks on display and a parade, but yet we can't afford like to get kids toothbrushes or like beds to sleep on in these camps along the border. And it's like they're so upset about that, but they haven't been upset all the while during the Obama years that the wars have been raging on, or that they continue to rage on currently right now. But yeah, like that's an excellent point. They're more outraged about that than they are the current wars that are going on overseas. So I mean, just especially, and then the tensions in Iran. Like they're not focusing on that, but let's focus on like the outrage of the day is what.
Well, I mean,
they're pissed that Trump talked to Kim Jong-il or Kim Jong-un or whatever this week.
Yeah,
went to Korea. Like everyone's mad that he like entertained a conversation.
Yeah, that was wild, man. Seeing the video from that,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down with people being pissed about the camps. It's
exactly.
Fucking close the camps. Abolish ICE.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, they don't understand. Like, they're part of the problem. I mean, there's so many aspects to the problem, and none of them. It's just the left answer is like, let everybody in, fuck it, and put them all on the dole, and the right's just like, we need a 300-foot wall with machine gun nests every 50 feet, like with barbed wire on top. And we need like drones flying constantly. We need more border agents, and we need to lock up any drug individual, any gang activity, and yada, yada. It's just like more and more big government. And it's like, here's like, how about you're both part of the problem? Like, how about you both suck and you're not being honest and not getting to the heart of the problem, not getting to the root causes of why the fuck we're in this situation to begin with.
I've mentioned it before, but like if you go back and listen to Bill Clinton's speeches on welfare and immigration, like you could straight up like quote him, attribute it to Donald Trump, and just have a drinking game with the outrages, like because it just you call him a Nazi.
Yeah, the hypocrisy and just the fact that like people are so short to forget, or soon forgetting something that's part of the problem too. Is like, especially now, it's even worse. I think with social media, it's just like this constant outrage. So the news cycles are like even more condensed, and you don't really have that really long view where you can look back. Like people barely remember like 2 years ago or 4 years ago, let alone like, hey, let's go back 10 years ago or let's go back 15 or 20 years. Like, how did this all start? Like what? Going back in history, but now it's just, that constant outrage, that constant has, I think, made it worse. Where, you can't get to the root cause of the problem or trace things back or actually look into things further, actually have an honest discussion or debate about things, because it's just this constant outrage of social media. Yeah. So, I don't know. That's all. But,
go ahead.
Oh, no. So, yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard much about the 4th of July parade in DC. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been kind of raining on and off, like here.
I'm not a big fan of it
in this area.
So.
Yeah,
it has been raining.
So hopefully, or maybe it got rained out. That'd be a bummer. But yeah, there's a lot going on. There's like some free speech march going on down in DC. Like all the Proud Boys are like Proud Boys and all these
really?
other groups.
Like today?
I don't know if it's today. It was kind of like one of my buddies that I've known for years. I was actually in the Air Force with. Like we talked on the phone just recently, and he's like, "Oh yeah, man, like I'm coming up to DC, and there's a big free speech rally. You should come." And I'm like, "Dude, I don't know, man. Like I don't know, like if I want to even like no, like because I don't want to be in DC on 4th of July weekend with all this like fucking ridiculousness between like." The hard right and the fucking loony left, like with Antifa, you know, like with all this, like, I was like, no, it's cool, man. I don't want to be associated. I don't like being in big groups of people.
Yeah, I don't like that just by itself.
I don't like that group mindset or group mentality. I didn't want anything to do with that, but apparently that's going on this weekend. So like fuck that. Like, you know, it's like only 40 minutes, like an hour down 95. Like, I'll avoid the 4th of July or like DC on a 4th of July weekend, like the plague, you know, like fuck that. But yeah, apparently that's going on. So I don't know. I'd be curious to see like what he encounters or what it's all about. Cause who knows, you guarantee there's going to be like clashes and just people getting shouted down and God knows what else, you know, but yeah. And then with this like military parade, I guess that's today. I don't know. Maybe it got rained out. But I do think it's ridiculous. Like you said, Lee, like the nationalism behind it, you know, it's like, is this necessary? Like,
no,
you know, do we need this constant? I don't know. It just reeks of something like that you would see in North Korea or like communist Russia.
Military
you know?
parade. Like I think of like Germany. Like
Right.
I mean,
Right.
I hate to say it because
Yeah.
everybody always calls everybody that disagrees
Right.
with them Nazis.
Like Trump's such a Nazi. And it's like, here, let's double down on that. Let's really have a huge parade. Like, because that'll definitely ease their, you know, their opinion about me is if I, you know, let's have a military parade or this will really alleviate those that think I'm a fascist. Let me have a huge like military parade on the 4th of July, a weekend that should, you know, that's the thing. It's so warped, you know. The 4th of July should, I don't know. It's like let's have this huge taxpayer-funded celebration down and bringing in the military and celebrating empire and turning into like, you know. And it's basically I don't like the way it looks either too because it's basically he's going to turn it into a political rally on the taxpayer dime for something that. I don't like anything funded by like any celebrations funded through tax dollars. Like, but at the same token, then he's kind of using it as like a political. I don't know. Yeah. It's just kind of, and then all the money, like, really, you know, like this is where it's going. Cool. Like, I'm really glad. Like, you know, I'm going to work overtime the next couple weeks and see like my federal taxes and see like where it's going, just being wasted. It's insane.
Like John pointed out, there's a lot more of that money going overseas too.
That too, yeah. So people are upset about like 1.2 million diverted from the national parks to put on this parade. It's just like, yeah, how much do we spend like per minute in these wars of aggression overseas? These wars that are unconstitutional, undeclared, immoral wars of aggression that have been raging on, and yet where's the fucking outrage about that? You know, the hypocrisy is just fuck, man. It's like. Sometimes, man, it's like you want to get off the social medias because it'll just drive you insane. That's what the memes are there for, though.
Yeah,
the memes, you know, help to keep you sane. Because there's been some dank ones lately. Like we were talking about on the porch hanging out. We were saying like Babylon Bee, man. Holy shit, they're like they've been on fire lately with some of their articles because like. I guess the latest outrage being that it's 4th of July is Nike, the Nike outrage about the Betsy Ross Nikes. So those that don't know, I guess, or I mean, probably seen the memes by now, but basically they wanted to release a Nike 1770. It had the 1776 flag, Betsy Ross flag, and I guess apparently Colin Kaepernick like urged them to not release it, so it was totally nixed. So anyway, so there's this whole outrage.
I mean, I'm just kind of like shocked that what they run tennis shoe designs by Colin Kaepernick,
right? Yeah, I mean, I don't know, or maybe it was like Yeah, that's the thing. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
how it actually, but apparently he was involved in, well, he's one of their lead spokesman, like
Yeah.
spokesperson. Like he did the whole campaign ad, and there was outrage about a year ago when Nike was doing like when they announced that he was going to be like the face of Nike or one of their new athletes on board as promoting Nike, and it's like there was so much fucking outrage about that because it's like former football guy won't stand for the special song, and so there was so much outrage about that, and now there's even more outrage because it's like 4th of July, and you're not releasing these sneakers because of football man who wouldn't stand for special song, like because apparently influenced Nike, or at the last minute they pulled it. But it's so fucking ridiculous. It's like,
so
get over
if they pulled it at the last minute, so they probably made the shoes and now they're not putting them out.
Let me see. Well, they'll probably send them all to probably little villages in Africa will have like these Betsy Ross flag, like
Yeah.
red, white, and blue Nikes.
Oh, okay.
But no, here, let me pull.
Wasn't there a Converse one where they had like black and tan, and then like there was like Irish people mad or something like that? Like a year or two ago.
Yeah, so Nike's pulling sneakers featuring an early American flag after former NFL football player Colin Kaepernick told the company it shouldn't sell a shoe that he and others consider offensive. So citing people, and then so Nike shares fell apparently. So Kaepernick apparently is contracted by Nike, saying he and others felt the Betsy Ross flag featured 13 stars in a circle. Featured on the shoe was linked to a period of slavery. So that was the big issue with it. Just like, so.
Did you guys hear that apparently, is it in Seattle where they're I think it's Seattle, they're not calling the basketball team owners because that's racist?
Yeah, they're like governors or something.
It's probably not Seattle because they don't have a basketball. It's probably Oregon. Or probably Portland. I could see. Yeah, fuck. What did I saw that too, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where
I saw it was somewhere. I thought that was pretty crazy.
Yeah. I mean, they're just, it's so fucking, I don't know. It's just trying to rule, like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just find it insane like that. You're going to get so triggered on either end because of a fucking sneaker that's made by some, child labor, by some child in Indonesia. It's like, they're outraged about all the periphery, but not the fact that, like, do you really need a red, white, and blue sneaker, like, with the flag on it that's made by, like, child labor for, like, less than, making, I don't know. But I digress. But, yeah, it's just fucking ridiculous, the outrage on both sides, for that's a fucking sneaker, There's so many other things we could be upset about,
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah. So what are you guys getting into later? Are you gonna watch fireworks or?
Apparently you said there's like a good fireworks display in the neighborhood, maybe pending the weather.
Yeah, there's one in the neighborhood, and it looks like it'll probably go on at this point. And
Binging Stranger Things.
Yeah, we'll probably do a little bit of that. Definitely. Yeah, man. So I think that's probably about it for tonight.
Yeah, man. Everybody enjoy your 4th.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. Until next time, live free
or die. Yeah, man.